Okay, good evening, everyone. My name is Michael, and today we are starting our class, and hopefully we're going to dive into Photoshop. Photoshop is a very essential program in this our course. Like I said in our previous chat, our topic will be doing around Photoshop, CorelDRAW, and Adobe Illustrator. So for today, we're going to dive in using our Photoshop. I'll drop a link on the group on where to get some of the applications that I use, especially Photoshop, for for free cracked version actually. Um, I'll drop some link there for you because Photoshop can be very pretty expensive to purchase. So right now, we'll wait for it to load. Okay. 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 All right. When you open your Photoshop, this is literally the first thing you will see. I'm using Photoshop 2022, so yours might be a little bit different, but not too different from mine. So I really don't have much work around. I'm going to explain this place briefly. This is your first the first menu that opens up to you, or the interface. In this interface, Photoshop gives you option to choose from continuing from a previous work or for creating new document. Here, what you see here is new file, and here you see some of the works I have worked on or I'm currently working on. So for you to effectively work here, when you click this place, you have the large image view. Then here you have the box view, and here you have the list view. Then on this other side, you have your list, you have your open. Open is for a previous document you are working on that is not on your list. Why create new file will actually help you to create a new document that you want to start. So for the purpose of this class, what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to click on the new file. Now, when you get to this place, this is where you decide what you want to do. So on the first menu up here, what we have is recent, we have saved, we have photos, we have print, we have art and illustration, we have web, we have mobile, and then we have film and videos. So the reason for these menus are all presets are because Photoshop is looking for a way to make resizing your object very easy and not having you to crack around between measuring your object yourself. Imagine you having to measure the screen of your phone. It looks very funny about that. So that's what Photoshop actually that's why Photoshop actually did that for you. So in my recent, Photoshop will save my recent use document size, which is 1080 by 1080 pixels and 105 by 105 millimeter. So these are some of the things here. So but if you have a specific design you want to do in mind and it's all about photos, you can come here and choose. For example, let's take for example you want to do an ID card, and the ID card you want to do is normally 3 by 2 or 2 by 3 depending on if you are using a portrait or a landscape. So what you do is you come to this part and then you choose your default size. For example, we have a landscape here. If you notice, each time you click one of them thumbs, you see here changes. So those are some of the precepts in when trying to take your design measurement. Now it's very important that you understand how this place work, because if you don't understand how you work very well, you might end up making your design look as terrible as possible. Because if you don't understand this place, that's where the whole problem comes from. You might make a design for screen and it comes out too big, too small, or it's just not it. In some cases, some of the websites you visit that wants you to upload some of the documents, they might demand you to upload document with some specific size. This is where Photoshop will help you in cropping them and reducing the size to fit the website recommendation. Now, with that said, we have seen photos, there's still prints, there's art and illustration, web, mobile phones. So for those that designs for Instagram and TikTok and the rest, or YouTube, so you can always come here and look at the sizes of the design you want to do. UI UX designers make use of this particular part a lot, because for you to design for a prototype of something or a website or a design for someone, you need to know the device that prototype will match accordingly. Then it's also important if you want to create beautiful wallpapers. This is where you come and check all the presets. But like we've seen here now, seems like they like Mac a lot, so don't mind me though. There are a lot of, they are mostly Mac specifics. So and we have iPad and the rest there. So that just do it. Then if it's movie, you are focusing on movies, then they have different presets for movies, which I will not go into details, but you can already do your research if you want to. So I've looked at mobile, web, then let's look at Art Illustrator. It's still the same thing there. You have your postcard, your poster, your 1000 by 1000 grid and the rest. Then if you are printing, the normal A4 paper, A3, A5, A5 for documents and the rest. Then we have photos and what have you. Now, with that all said about here, let's go to the side. This place is as important as any other thing, in the sense that when you choose here, it automatically take the templates here. But apart from taking the template here, you might want to tweak one or two things. Now, whenever I choose a document, you notice that the width and the height change, and the measurement dimension. This is where it shows at what rate are they measuring it. Is it pixels, inches, centimeter, millimeter, points, or piscals? Piscals. So that's where you get that. Then this is your height and your width and your height. Then here is the orientation. Like, do you want it to be portrait or landscape? Then artboard, will go into much about artboard later. Then resolution is very important, because resolution will allow your work to render faster and then key all the lagging that you'll be having. So for first class, I will always advise that if you are going for screen, always try to reduce the resolution a little bit. For now, I'm going to take my resolution to around 72. So resolution is very, very important, because that will really determine how fast your rendering work will be, and it will also help you if you are using a low grade system in designing. Always pay attention to resolution, except the customer specify. Try as much as possible to use a lower resolution to help aid your work to be faster, especially if you are using a lower grade system. Alright, so with that said, we have color mode, we have background context, that's the default background that will show. Then we have bits, how many bits is designed to be. Then we have color profile, and there's square pixels. All this, the rest of these things, we'll get to know them as we go on with class. With that all said, this is what the introduction to Photoshop really looks like. This fundamental is very, very essential before we enter into the app, and then we start doing one or two. So for the purpose of this class, I think I'll take a 1080 by 1080p, and I want it to be landscape, because it's going to be square, because square have the same size around. So I think that would do, so that we'll be able to do one or two. So with that said, let's dive in. Voila. So now we have our default blank Photoshop interface. So